Good evening, everyone. How are you doing at Mommy's World for You and Me? And once again, we are here with our one of the doctors we met earlier. She is Dr. Shashi Dangwal, and she is retired from Indian Army. She served there for 30 years and a senior consultant pulmonologist. A warm welcome, Dr. Shashi. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm good and good to be with you again.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you and to get the queries answered at Mommy's World.
Yeah.
And many of the members remembered, in fact, when we last interacted, so they knew that you are coming. So everyone on WhatsApp keeps telling me, all right,
Yeah, I'm also happy to be with all of them once again.
thank you. All right, so today, members, we are discussing about the indoor air quality. Like all you know, Diwali is coming next month, and हम लोग सब बिल्कुल परेशान हो जाते हैं when we have to clean our houses inside because too much of dust and so much of bad the dust, so many of things like we get troubled around. So yes, this session today we are going to seek tips and tricks from Dr. Shashi. She is going to tell us. Okay, Dr. Shashi, I want to know first of all, like Diwali is coming, and we all being moms have small children there in the family, and we want to know if we are not stepping out, that's pretty fine. Like we can save ourselves from this, outdoor air pollution. What if we are inside and there is too much of dust accumulated already, and all Indian houses clean during Diwali,
Yeah.
so we have lot much to clean. So,
Yeah.
what do you suggest on that?
Yeah, okay. So first, you are rightly, worried and concerned about the coming festival season and the winter setting in and the air getting polluted, especially the indoor airs. What
Yeah.
we are all familiar with this terminology, indoor pollution.
Hmm.
So first, let me tell you what is this indoor pollution. It is the pollutant air which is there inside your homes,
Hmm.
and this air within the four walls of your home is part of the air which is outside, the atmospheric air. And we all are talking about the air pollution. Not only in India, it is the whole world is worried about the air
Hmm.
pollution. There are so
Hmm.
many air pollutants. So this polluted air, it enters your homes. And how does it enter? It enters through the doors and windows. Even if you keep the doors and windows, first is you can't keep the doors and windows closed all the time. Even though you try to keep it as close as you can, still there are cracks in the doors and windows, and the air will seep in from the minutest of the opening that it finds. So the outdoor air that has entered into your homes is now called indoor air, but it gets even more polluted as compared to the outside air while it is in your homes. And how does it happen? See, we are indulging in so many day activities. The most common is we are doing cooking. The cooking is going on in the house throughout the day. So, what happens when the cooking is going on? A lot of toxic fumes are generated. And if you're not using a good exhaust fan or a chimney, all these toxic fumes get added to the indoor airs of your home, and more pollutants are added over there. So this is one very important way of your indoor air getting more polluted. Now, what happens is there may be sometimes seepage in your house. You may see some wall which is totally wet. So on this moisture, on this seepage on the wall, the fungus grows very easily. So the fungal hyphae and the fungal spores that again become part of your indoor air, again adding to more pollution. Then we are all very fond of keeping our houses clean. And for cleaning our houses, what are we doing? We are using a lot of detergents and other disinfectants. So the fumes and the vapors arising out of the use of these detergents and cleansing agents also get added to your indoor air. Then one may be having a pet in the house. So the pet dander. What is pet dander? It is the outermost layer of the skin of your pet, and it keeps the animals are keep shed they keep shedding the outer layer, so that gets those flakes get added to the atmospheric air, which is indoor, that is indoor air, and again adding allergens to the indoor air. So when you're brushing your pet, that time more flakes are thrown into the indoor air. Then you may be having a family member who's a smoker, so that's the worst kind of air pollutant that is getting added to your indoor air.
Hmm.
Then we ourselves are using a lot of deodorants and
Hmm.
perfumes and things
Perfume,
like that. Yeah,
room
so all
freshness.
those,
Yeah.
they are fumes, like every time you spray, so
Hmm.
many of those micro droplets are built and they get added to your indoor air. And you may be keeping indoor plants, so those indoor plants,
Hmm.
you are adding water to it, causes moisture, growth of fungus. Then you may be adding manure to it, you may be adding disinfectant to it, so all these things add to the indoor air, and so the indoor air gets more polluted as compared to the outdoor air. So that is what is the indoor pollution. This much
Hmm.
everyone should know.
So I'm sorry, like my I guess internet got disconnected and I have to reconnect it again. So I have received a query where they says, Doctor, I've heard the talks of air pollution only during winters,
Yeah.
especially after Diwali. So maybe because of crackers they have this doubt. So does this air quality become poor only during that time?
So this is partly it's a correct statement, partly no, because
Okay.
first air pollution is present throughout the year. And what is the cause of this air pollution? I think now everyone knows, even a layman knows, that it is the heavy vehicular traffic that we have
Yes.
throughout the year. So
Hmm.
that adds maximum to the air pollution. Then we
Hmm.
have polluting industries. Many
Hmm.
industries, you must have seen those big chimneys, bellowing out that thick black
Yeah.
smoke
Yes.
into the
Yes.
air.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
where is it going? It's going nowhere. It's remaining in the air,
Hmm.
and the air is getting polluted.
Hmm.
Then people are using fossil fuel for their cooking, for heating water, and
Hmm.
things like that. And what is that
Hmm.
fossil fuel? Fossil fuel is that coal, wood, then cow dung, cakes, and all.
Hmm.
Especially in
Hmm.
slums and low
Hmm.
socioeconomic strata, people are still using cow dungs and all for their
Hmm.
cooking and other
Hmm.
requirements. So this is present throughout the year. It's not that it is there only in winter. It's present throughout
Hmm.
the year. But however, what happens is in winter months, especially in the northern states, the
Hmm.
temperature falls. So when the temperature falls, the moisture can be seen, and all these pollutants, the dust particle, they get settled on this moisture,
Yes.
which can
Hmm.
be seen as a thick smog. It is there
Hmm.
at your eye level, it is there all around you, so you become
Hmm.
aware of it, you become more aware of it, so that is why
Hmm.
you feel that the pollution has risen in the winter months.
Hmm.
So as I said, that partly you are right, partly you are not. So this part I said ki partly you are not right, because pollution is present throughout the year, but partly yes, you may be right, because in winter months the northern states
Hmm.
indulge in, especially you have heard of state of Haryana and Punjab, they
Yeah.
indulge in the stubble burning. Why? Because the farmers have to prepare their land for the next crop. So what do they do to get
Hmm.
rid of the stubble of the previous crop or the last crop? They just put the land to fire, and that stubble starts burning, and it is happening at a massive scale. It's not just one patch of land is having this fire. It's massive,
Hmm.
because both the states are agriculture dominated
Hmm.
state.
Hmm. Hmm.
So much of burning going on, so much of stubble
Hmm.
burning, lot of toxic fumes generated, and that whole thing comes into the atmosphere, and Delhi gets affected. So that is why
Hmm.
probably people say that Delhi gets worse in winters,
Yeah, it gets worse. Yeah.
which is true to quite
Okay.
some extent.
So that's an very shocking thing because northern regions are most affected when we talk about the outdoor pollutions as well as the indoor air quality. because they are residing there, and the solutions we have to find out, and you are going to tell us the solutions in this only. So what
Yeah.
are the health effects of indoor air pollution?
Yeah, that's a very pertinent question. Why are we talking so much about indoor pollution or outdoor
Hmm.
pollution? More so now we are talking about indoor pollution because since this corona outbreak, we have been
Hmm.
spending most of our times indoors. It's been more
Hmm.
than a year, almost year and a half. So
Hmm.
people have become more aware of this indoor pollution. Why
Hmm.
so? Because all these pollutants that are present in the indoor airs, they have, they have a lot of harmful effects on the human health, human body. So there can
Okay.
be short-term effect, there can be long-term effect. In the short-term effect, you may have itching into the nose, running of nose, sneezing, what is called allergic rhinitis. Then the same
Okay.
thing happens in the eyes. There's watering from the eyes, there's redness of the eyes,
Hmm.
there's itching in the eyes, what we call is allergic conjunctivitis. A person
Okay.
can develop asthma. That is, he will
Hmm.
have that constant cough, mostly a
Hmm.
dry cough with breathing difficulty, and that
Hmm.
that irritation in the throat.
Hmm.
So that is asthma or asthma-like symptoms. A person
Okay.
who's already asthmatic, his symptoms
Hmm.
can become worse in the when there's too much of indoor pollution.
Hmm.
Then there may be a person may have that, may feel confused most of the time. He may have headache, constant headache, that
Hmm.
state of confusion, what we call a brain fog. He can't think clearly. Then in children there can be delay in the cognitive development, that the development of intelligence may be affected in the children. So these are the some of the short-term effects. And the long-term effect, what happens is when the polluted air is entering your lungs, it crosses over
Hmm.
to the blood, because
Hmm.
the air exchange takes place at the lung
Hmm.
level, and
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
air is coming. So the air which is crossing over to the lung, it is carrying the pollutants also. The pollutants are
Hmm.
also crossing over to your blood. And from there, the blood goes to the heart, and from the heart, blood goes to the various organs of the body. So one can have long-term effect of this pollution, pollutants. And what are those long-term effects? One can have heart ailments. One can have, as I've already said, that the brain cognitive
Hmm.
development may be
Hmm.
affected. Then one can get cancer of various organs, like cancer of the lungs is of course known, then cancer of the kidneys and cancer of bladder and things like that. So these are the harmful, and then the children are also equally affected. In fact, more so
Hmm.
because children are still immature, the systems are still
Hmm.
developing, so they become more vulnerable to
Hmm.
these pollutants.
Hmm.
And then even the the unborn child or a pregnant mother who's carrying a baby, or a yet
Hmm.
to be born child, is also can also be affected. So there may
I was
be
about
small,
to ask you this. Yeah, like a child who's
yeah,
still in the womb.
yeah, because it's very important. So there may be birth weight of the baby may be small. There may be
Hmm.
premature labor, premature
Hmm.
delivery. And
Hmm.
in the long term, the same baby may develop asthma because he's already taken a lot of pollutants in him through the blood
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
circulation, or chronic bronchitis or asthma in the later this thing. So even a yet to be born child also can be affected.
So this affects their immunity as well. The
Yes,
child who.
definitely. Yeah, yeah. It lowers the immunity because there are pollutants in your this thing, so you become vulnerable to so many diseases.
Hmm, that's a scary thing because the child who is still yet to come out has to.
Suffer
I
so
mean,
much.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's no words to say to know the problems already there are in the world, and this indoor air pollution. So yes. So,
Mhm.
doctor, what do you think? How can we make this indoor air better? And there is one related question as well. Is it true that some indoor plants cleans indoor air?
Say again.
Somebody is asking, is it true that some indoor plants cleans indoor air?
No, no, no. See, that is actually it's a very controversial topic. A
Okay.
nursery owner who wants to sell plants to you, he will
Ha.
tell you 101 this thing that is very good. They will clean the air. Yes, to some extent, plants do absorb the toxic, particles from the air, but it is
Hmm.
not very effective.
Okay.
On the other hand, what are the adverse effects of having indoor plants? First is
Hmm.
you have kept plants inside. There may be burst of pollens coming out from time to
Hmm.
time. They will be adding allergens to the air. Then there may be you are watering the plants, so you are providing moisture for the fungus to grow.
Hmm.
Then you
Hmm.
are adding some manure. You are going to add some pesticides or some disinfectants. So
Hmm.
again, the toxic fumes or vapors coming out from them will be getting added to your this thing. And plants also at night, they also breathe. So they take in oxygen and they give out carbon dioxide.
Hmm.
So, and to keep a small patch of area clean, you need many plants. So can you afford
Hmm.
to have so many plants inside your house? Where will you live if you are only keeping
Hmm.
the plants? Huh? So plants, if one has a hobby, keep one or two plants, but then you have to look
Hmm.
after them. You have to keep them in the sun from time to time. You have to
Yeah.
ensure that the fungus is not growing. Then this is of
Hmm.
course out of the topic. Mosquito breeding can be there, though this is not part of
Hmm.
today's this thing, but I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
telling. So you have to weigh between the pros and the cons and decide whether you need the plant or not.
So that's a news for people who love plants. So please be careful and take extra
You
precautions
can have them outside. You can have them in the
outside. Yes.
balcony. Yeah, you can have
Yeah.
them in the
और
balcony.
वो द टेरेस लाइक नॉर्दर्न साइड पे तो बहुत अच्छे पब्लिक के पास टेरेस होते हैं. बॉम्बे में
Yeah,
तो डेफिनेटली नहीं है, बट यस दे कैन मैनेज दीज थिंग्स वेरी इजीली.
yeah.
So yes, we were discussing like how we can make our indoor air better.
Yeah. So, coming to how we can make our indoor air better is first we should all know that it is impossible to clean the air 100%. Okay.
Hmm.
But however, we can reduce the amount of pollutants in the air. And how do we
Hmm.
do that? First, it's simple, basic, principles of day to day living. Do a cleaning of your house, wet mopping is better. Then
Hmm.
dusting is, I will advise, don't use a duster to dust your surfaces and sofas and all. Better to use a vacuum cleaner, because vacuum cleaner
Okay.
actually removes the dust
Yes.
from the place to some extent.
Yeah.
Then if you have a pet, proper grooming of the pet and
Hmm.
brushing the pet with a wet brush. Then
Hmm.
avoid keeping indoor plants, avoid using too many detergents and
Hmm.
deodorants and disinfectants in the house.
Hmm.
If there is a smoker, please, that the person should not smoke indoors, because that's a very
Hmm.
dangerous smoking.
Hmm.
The cigarette smoke has got too many carcinogens. So no
Yeah.
smoking inside the house. Avoid burning of incense sticks and lighting a lamp in your
Hmm.
puja place.
Hmm.
So these are the this thing. And now because pollution has become so common and it is
Hmm.
affecting. One more thing I wanted to tell you, that various studies have shown that if one is exposed to constant pollution, the lifespan can be reduced from 8 to 10 years. A
Oh,
person can have a
oh.
reduction of lifespan by 8 to 10 years. So
That's
now,
the same thing if a smoker, spending his life smoking all his life, and like the same thing we say, like they're reducing their
yeah,
life about 8 to 10 years from the person normal who's not smoking.
yeah. So much pollution we are talking about, and so many adverse effects. So nowadays we advise use a good air purifier in the
Hmm.
house, because it will remove toxic substances
Hmm.
and bring down all those toxic gases and all. So
Hmm.
a good air purifier one should use.
And any suggestions? Like last time you were telling me, like we were discussing about which kind of air purifier.
Yeah, yeah. See, when you go to purchase an air purifier, you should know certain things. One is that it should have air purifier basically works on the principle of a filter. So it should have a
Okay.
good filter. A HEPA filter is considered a good filter.
Okay.
H13 HEPA filter. It should have
Okay.
that. then it should have a full revolution so that it cleans the air from all the corners of the room. And
Okay.
it should also have a real-time monitor where you can see the quality of your room air before and after using the air
Okay.
purifier. And it should be of a good established brand. Okay.
Okay.
So these are certain things one
Okay.
should look for while buying the air purifier.
So like these days I'm using Dyson and really helping me,
Yeah,
I don't have to use.
I'm also
Yeah.
using Dyson. I think you can see it. Can you see?
Acha, yeah, 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 yeah. Right, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And
like you said, one should not use dusters. Yes, I'm not using dusters for vacuum cleaning. It's really easy, and I've made clicked some pictures also, which I'll be sharing with the community. So
yeah.
yes, that's your air purifier. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's great. So
I hope your
yes,
audience can also see that I'm also using the.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
we can see. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, so HEPA one you said that has should have activated carbon filters, right? H13 you suggested.
Yeah.
Okay,
H13 glass fiber filter. Yeah. HEPA filter.
okay, okay. So there are few two three questions I would like to take before I head to my questions. How much ventilation do I need in my home to improve indoor air quality?
That is, you cannot say how much ventilation. You have to just ensure that there is air circulation. So open your doors and windows in the morning for some time,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then you have to again close them also, because so much of pollution is there. So
Yes.
all that dust, all that smoke will come. So it is, you have to
Hmm.
decide. I mean, there's no measure that so much
Hmm.
ventilation is required. That measure only an engineer can give after taking the measurement of your
Right. Right.
house, and
Right.
seeing the volume of the air in your this thing. But there's no
Yeah.
such written parameters that for this
Hmm.
much room this much ventilation is required.
Also depends where they're staying, because many houses have good ventilation areas, and some of the houses like in Mumbai are packed from one to like three buildings, is back to back three buildings, that there is no place of ventilation. There is, it depends
Exactly.
upon the locality as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so next question is how to test the air quality in our home.
Testing is, you cannot, like, if you have an air purifier, as I told you, it has a real-time monitor, and it will tell you the
Ah.
AQI, it will tell you the various gases, various pollutants, at
Hmm.
PM10, PM2.5, PM5. And air purifier removes even the ultra micron particles, that is less than zero point 0.1 micron particle also an air purifier can remove. So again, if you want to measure how much this thing is, then you buy a purifier, or otherwise you have to have these labs and big labs and all the, like
Hmm.
Center for Science and all those use a proper measure for that. Again, that's a
Hmm.
separate field and separate topic. You have to go to
Hmm.
them and find out if the say, and it's not going to be cost effective to
Hmm.
have
Yeah,
such a
yeah.
big equipment in your house just to measure the air
Yeah,
quality
right.
of this.
So,
But yes, you can feel, like when there's cooking going on, you can
hmm,
feel that all that smoke and then all that tadka
hmm,
and all that frying thing. So that's the time you should switch on your exhaust fan, use a good chimney and all, so that
hmm,
all that polluted air goes outside.
hmm, hmm,
And if a person, I have seen people coming in telling me, especially asthmatics, that since they are using air purifier since last so many months, their symptoms have reduced. So these all
hmm,
tell you that the air quality of your room.
hmm. Acha, for how long, like since you have showed the machine you're using, Dyson one, for how long you keep it on? Like,
Actually, it should be on most of the time,
acha.
because yeah, it should be on most of time. But then you can switch it off for some time. You want to give rest to your machine, or if you want to get in some fresh the outside air, for that circulation
Hmm,
of air, if you want to open the doors and windows, that time you
hmm.
switch it off. Otherwise, air purifier is supposed to be on all the time.
Acha, acha. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
nice
because
thing
it
to
is
know.
working constantly. It is working constantly.
Acha.
See what
Okay.
happens is, once the air gets purified, the this thing, and it is all on auto, it becomes
Hmm.
green. The air gets purified,
Acha.
it turns green, the indicator or the sensor turns green. So that
Hmm.
time the machine itself rests itself, and when
Hmm.
again the air becomes polluted, it becomes red, the sensor becomes red,
Okay.
and again
Acha,
the
acha.
machine starts working. So you don't
Okay.
have to switch it on or switch it off. However, if you
Okay.
want to totally feel ki, yes, I have switched off the machine, when you are keeping your doors and windows open, that time you can
Hmm.
switch off the machine.
Okay. Because I'm yet to use for a longer period. I just use it for some time
No, no,
because I have
it should be
son
used for
around.
as long as you can.
Hmm. Because I
There's
have
no,
my son around, so that fear in mind. Though I
no,
know
no,
it's
no.
not
That is a
not a
wrong
problem.
fear, and that's a myth that air purifier
Yeah.
is not good for children. In Indian, this thing is कि बच्चे को आदत डलनी चाहिए, polluted air में
हाँ.
भी रहने की आदत. No, it's
Right.
not like
Right.
that. It's not like that,
Yeah.
na?
Hmm.
It's not like that. It is you are providing him good air, purified
Hmm.
air. His development will be better. I've already told you
Hmm.
so many side effects of the.
Right. Yeah.
eh?
That's something new parents or everybody should learn, that do not give your children what we have faced. If we have the solutions, give them the right thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so the same person who asked for the indoor plants, so she thinks so just keeping 3 to 4 pots inside the room will not help in cleaning the air.
No, no, not at all. It will add more to the indoor pollution,
Okay, all right.
because, as I said,
Okay.
ki you will be adding water to it, so you are providing moisture for fungus to grow. You are going to
Hmm.
add manure. You are going to add pesticides. So all those vapors are going to come and get added to your indoor air.
Right. That's nice. That's nice to know. And if we don't have air purifier and have natural ventilation problems, then plants can be. No, no, we have already answered this. We have already answered this. Okay, so doctor, indoor purifying plants. What about if you want to purify the plants?
I'm not aware of any indoor purifying plants. Plants as such are supposed to be just on this basis that they consume oxygen when they are making their food.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they consume carbon dioxide when they are making their food and giving out oxygen. On those principles, probably that concept of indoor plants have come in. But as I said, that the harmful effects are also there, and they may be more than the beneficial effect. So I would not, as a doctor, I would not advise indoor plants.
Okay, okay. That's wonderful to know, and some good knowledge we have got today. What are the key points you would like to share for today's session, doctor?
First is everyone should know what the indoor pollution is and how the indoor pollution happens. The outside air is in your rooms, and then more pollutants get added by cooking, by smoking, by cleaning this thing, by dusting, by lighting lamps, by keeping indoor plants. So that is indoor pollution, and the side effects I've already told you: long term, short term. There may be allergies of the nose, eyes. There may be asthma. There may be bronchitis. Then long-term effect, there may be cancers. There may be brain fog. There may be developmental issues in the children. And then by how do we reduce this? By cleaning our houses, by vacuum cleaning the house, washing our linens and tapestry as frequently as we can, sunning our bed linen and all, and then using a good air purifier.
Okay, so yes, I guess we are done with the session, and thanks a lot for coming and giving us all the information and showing your machine as well, so that members know that you're using it and that's why you're
Yeah.
recommending it. Thanks a
Yes.
lot, doctor. It was nice talking to you
Yeah.
and such a pleasure.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Nice
you.
being with you all.
Same here. Take care. Have a good day. So as you all saw that डॉक्टर यूज कर रहे हैं मशीन, और हम लोग जितना ज़्यादा पोल्यूशन फेस कर चुके हैं, हमारे किड्स वो पोल्यूशन फेस ना करें और इजीली हम लोग किस तरीके से एक हेल्दी लाइफ के लिए जा सकते हैं. सो लाइक यू ऑल नो दैट आई हैव बीन पुटिंग ऑल द पिक्चर्स एंड वीडियोस ऑफ Dyson vacuum cleaner and the air purifier. So yes, that's the machine. Yes, you can go for it, check it out, and look for yourself that is it the right one or not. So yes, hoping the best one on this Diwali, a safe Diwali. And you take care, everyone. Stay connected on Mommy's World Biryani. We'll see you once again very soon. Take care. Bye bye.